Welcome to the After Codes podcast.
Subscribe now!
Okay, welcome everyone to a new episode of After Codes podcast. Today I'm very lucky and I'm joined by Carlo and Michael as always.
Hello.
Hello.
And today we're joined by the very special guests. Plural is the first time that we have multiple guests at the same time. Hi, Ilhaam and Alison. Thank you for joining us.
Of course, thank you. We're so happy to be here. We're very flattered that you asked.
Hello.
We know you guys are very busy, or at least have been very busy.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you coming over. And well, before we go, deeper into you guys and who you are and what you've been doing, we wanted to ask you if you believe in any conspiracy theory.
Ooh.
Wow. Conspiracy theories.
That's a good question.
Huh. I don't know.
Maybe you don't believe in it, but what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
I find flat earthers quite funny. As in,
That's fair.
there is a part of me that kind of wishes the earth was flat. But I don't think it is. Not that. Yeah.
It would be pretty cool though. No, I don't know. I mean, the most basic pigeons are the government spying. I think that one's pretty.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
pretty funny as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty creepy if you ask me.
I know. At home we don't have pigeons as common as we have crows. We have pigeons, but we don't have pigeons as much as we have crows. Crows are everywhere. So for me, I always think, okay, maybe the crows are the.
Yeah.
Or aliens.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Aliens are funky.
I
Or
did
mermaids.
go down a YouTube rabbit hole about because aliens were real. There was some US.
Oh, there was a time
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
they found an alien.
Yeah, or
Yeah, there was a guy who said on Congress that he has contact with aliens every now and then.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Ooh,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, good. I don't.
But yeah.
Yeah, to move on, we've implemented this new thing, was the new heat, of asking you guys 9 quick questions.
It's actually 9 this time, I think.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
time it was not 9.
It was 7. We said we're gonna ask you 9 quick
That was
questions, and then we asked 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start off with you, and then you answer the same question.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite food?
Enchiladas.
Chocolate.
Favorite sport?
Football.
Swimming.
Favorite school subject?
Oh my god. English.
Oh, English too.
Biggest strength?
Creativity.
Oh my god. Reflectiveness.
Damn.
So strength.
Biggest fear?
Uncertainty.
Regret.
Favorite book?
Oh no. There's 20. Okay. First one that comes to mind. Okay, the entire Grishaverse series. It's a whole series, but I can't choose but every book in it.
Okay.
No, Shadowhunters. Shadowhunters.
Oh my god. I recently read a book that was really good, and I've forgotten what the book is. This is gonna sound okay. This was the last book I read, and it sounds a bit, but socialist realism.
Good stuff.
Interesting. Favorite movie?
Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer.
Jeez. Well, okay. That's
What
a
genre
complicated
is
title.
12-year-olds. That's just the genre.
that? Okay.
Legally Blonde.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My bad. I was looking for the movie that you. it looks interesting.
It's really good.
Okay, and lastly, number 1 thing in your bucket list right now.
Wow.
That's a complicated one. I don't know why
It's a
we added that,
very-
but
Right now.
Okay. On the spot, go in a hot air balloon. I think that'd be pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
That's a cool
That's a
one.
good one. Maybe skydive or something. But yeah.
Okay, that was our 9 quick questions.
very very intense.
Yeah.
Moving on. Okay, we're gonna go kind of chronologically, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Should we also do a background,
Yeah, we could do a background. So
Okay. So just
you can,
introduce us to yourselves.
oh,
Just
I thought we
quickly.
were gonna introduce them.
Oh, I don't know. You can introduce.
We can introduce
You know more than any of us.
We have some info on you guys. We
Okay.
like did some research.
Okay,
Oh.
so
Whoa.
I can introduce you guys. So Alison, correct me if I'm wrong. You were born in London and you have lived there your whole life.
Yes.
You have 2 older brothers.
Yes.
Okay. Dominique graduated from Oxford with a degree in classics.
This is it's actually a scary amount of information. Because
I didn't pick it out, so don't blame it on me.
Tim was-
Michael is studying PPE at Glasgow.
Yeah, well, kind of PP. He's now in politics league. Yeah, yeah,
So those are probably your siblings.
yeah.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure. And then you went to an all-girls Catholic school,
Yeah.
and you didn't like it at all.
I met some good people there, but
It was
yeah,
a mixed
it's-
experience.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And you want to study PPE in the UK and probably also in Glasgow.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Glasgow Leeds.
You have
Okay.
anything to add into that?
Oh, probably not. That's
Okay.
like something.
And sorry, one other thing we just picked up from our background research.
Yeah,
She
uh-huh.
you like theater and you have participated in various plays.
Yeah, I have. That's you've just revealed my deepest darkest secret. Actually, I was a theatre kid.
That's
You
cool.
still
I
are.
like
Dun, dun, dun.
Your voice went a little high when you said. But, yeah, drama GCSE.
Well, theatre's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very
but how
cool.
was an all-girls high school? How is that?
It was in London, so there was still like a lot of perspective. Like you would leave, and there was a big city full of people, so that was very good. But it was definitely intense. Just a lot of girls going through puberty at the same time. It's
Yeah,
not
okay.
a great. It's not a great.
Yeah.
combo.
Were teachers also all female or?
No, it was a mix of teachers, but it was. There are some kind of wild stories with like male teachers at all girls school. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Then moving on to Ilham. You're born in Mombasa, Kenya.
No. False.
In
Tails background
Uganda.
research.
In
failed.
Uganda.
In Uganda, I got it.
Almost.
Almost.
Almost there.
But then you moved to
Yeah.
Kenya.
So
When I
you
was
live,
3.
You live there
Okay.
now.
For most of my life.
Yeah. And then you have an older brother and a younger brother.
Hmm.
They both play football.
Yes.
Great sport in the world. And then and you attended Khan Academy in Mombasa before going to ACC, and that was the same school as Nahid was teacher at, I suppose.
It was.
Wow. There's a real connection in between you guys.
Oh my god.
And then you want to study international relations in the United States.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us where exactly you want to study that?
Where?
Yeah.
We're in the United
planned
States.
yet? Oh, you said a
Favorite
secret.
state right now?
None. Well, actually, Canada is my most preferred.
That's beautiful. And where in
Yeah.
Canada? Have you thought about it yet?
Well, it depends. I'm okay anywhere, honestly. My brother is in Quebec. I would like somewhere else, maybe, because I think he might move from there, hopefully, in the future.
Okay.
He's finding jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, anywhere in Canada.
No, Canada's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
And
want to continue?
Yeah, cool. So now we know a bit more about you guys. I mean, we already knew because we did our research.
It's the
but
pigeons
now-
we were telling you.
Yeah, the pigeons,
Yeah.
the governmental pigeons. So, I mean, first question would be like, if there's any childhood experience that has deeply influenced you and has deeply influenced who you are today. Anything that you want to share, of course.
I mean, I fell in a pond once. It was pretty influential stuff. Yeah, I was like trying to throw stones in this pond. This other girl was like throwing them really far, and I was like,
I'll go too.
yeah, like I can do that too. I want to throw them really far, and then I just couldn't throw them as far as her, and then
Damn.
I fell in a pond. You know?
mhm.
Wow.
How did that influence you?
Oh, I
What-
feel like.
Knowing where your limit is.
Yeah, exactly. Don't live life to like try and be better than people. Live life.
That's deep.
Like,
So deep.
yeah.
So deep.
That's very deep. Well, however, shall I beat that? Well, okay, now you're giving me an idea. Okay. Well, not as deep, but once when I was younger, right, I was a very indecisive child growing up. And so I don't even know what I was choosing between, but I could not make a choice. And then it hit me. I was like, oh my God, why isn't there a device called the choice orator, which can make things for you, make decisions for you? So I went to my mom and I was like, the best idea I've ever had yet. That was like the first time I think I've ever had like a mental epiphany. I was like, God, I can change the world. The choicerator. It never really worked out from there. I didn't have the engineering skills, I think.
ChatGPT stole your idea.
Exactly. It started
Or
ChatGPT
did you-
choicerator. Do you see the resemblance?
Or did you not like the choices that you were getting? You know, like you maybe have to make a choice between, I don't know, going to the cinema, going for
Like, choose again,
and
choose
then the
again.
cinema, we're like, I don't know.
Like, I'm not vibing with that. Yeah, so I think just stupid things like that. I'm very grateful that I could have like a childhood where I could really explore whatever I wanted, do whatever I wanted, like build forts with my brothers or watch movies or go play like in the grass or something, because I think it really allowed me to be free. And as I've grown up, it made me realize like I can do this and I can do that. You can be innovative and you can be creative and you can do like literally whatever you want to or whatever passion you want to invest in. You just have to like invest time in it. So yeah, I think just being able to be free to my own capacity to explore literally whatever hobby I wanted to as a child made me realize, okay, I can do that now too, just at like with greater potential.
Yeah, last time when we spoke to Nahid, he was kind of fangirling over Mombasa, Kenya.
Really?
So, do you feel the same way? I mean, how do
for
you?
sure, yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, I think coming here, I've realized what I really have at home. Like when I'm there, it's like, okay, not take it for granted, but kind of take it for granted. Because I'm like, okay, this is always going to be here, whatever. I need something new, something fresh, something different. And then I come here and I'm like, oh my God, where is the sun, number one? Where's the beach? Like, the sun doesn't work the same here. It doesn't, the settings are different, I swear.
Temperature is also a bit different, I suppose.
Quite. So, yeah, at home, like when I went back for the summer, I was like, whoa, like, okay. Like I realize now what I have, so I'm very grateful. But yeah, I think even like when I describe it, people are usually very impressed. So it's like that's the card I play first now. I'm like, yeah, it's sunny all year round.
But it makes
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're now going to shift the conversation more into STUCO because you're still STUCO Chairs after all. And that's a big responsibility in the school.
Yeah.
So our first question about that is that did you come into AC with an intention to become STUCO Chairs, or did you know that STUCO was a thing before coming here?
No. For me, I didn't actually fully know what councils were, like the first week or the first month even. I don't know. It was just, I wasn't even sure if I was going to run for STUCO rep. It was like between that, I was like thinking about SUSCO rep. And then Wojciech, like our second year, was like, oh, just run for STUCO. And I was like, okay. And then I wasn't going to run for chair. And then I was like, I'm definitely not doing that. And then I went home for winter break. And then I was like, maybe I'll run for chair. And then kind of did it on a whim. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much very similar for me. It was like a massive no, not at all. Like I did not think. I mean, I knew, okay, of course, the school probably has a student council, but especially for STUCO Chair, that was like funny story, which I've told like 50 times this week. On like the day the forms were due, or the night before, I knew Ali was running, so I was like, "You go do that. You're gonna be amazing. I'm gonna vote for you. You'll do so well." And she's like, "Are you running?" I was like, "Not for me. Like not ever. I would never do something like that."
Next
Anyways.
day, she saw your name in the group chat.
Exactly.
I was like, what was that?
Exactly. It was so horrible. And like a lot
was
of
very
other
glad you were
candidates as well, I was telling them, I was like, if you two win, I'd be so happy. If you two win, I'd be so, if any of you win, I'd be so happy. And then, I don't know, like, I was really debating it because I was like, damn, should I think of it? Because it just never even occurred to me. It wasn't even something I thought about at all. And then, like, the night the form was due, like, I had this list of, like, pros, cons, and the cons was bigger than the pros, unfortunately. And, like, all the second years I talked to, they were like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. And Sophia, one of my best friends, Sophia Mayan in Thais, I dragged her into the laundry room. I'm like, Sophia, like, tell me, yes, no. She's like, what do you want to do? Then I looked at my list, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm not going to do it. It's fine. She went to her room, I went to my room, I opened my phone, I put my name in the form, I submitted it, then I knocked on her door, I was like, remember how we said we're not going to do that? So, then it just happened.
I remember you told me once, I don't know if I recall correctly, but you didn't tell your parents that you were running
you
up
remember?
until you got it.
I didn't at all. So I was like, okay, you know what, I was like, let me test this type of thing. Because I tell my mom everything, so I was like, you know what, let me just keep this little thing from them, let me explore, let me see how it works, let me test the waters. And yeah, I didn't tell them at all, but it was so hard to keep secrets from them because I talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have something really big to tell you, like it's really big. And they were like, what? I was like, I can't tell you, so just give me 2 weeks. And then even on the week, I think they had posted, like the school posted on their Instagram page during the STUCO debate. My mom was like, what is this? I was like, I can't tell you. Just give me one more week.
Yeah.
And then in the end, I was like, so let's go back a bit. What are councils? And then we start from there.
Good ending, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you won.
And was it like when you saw Adrian and Evan? Was it like I want to be like them? Like, because when I first like went into STUCO meetings, I was like, I want to be like those two guys. Like that's.
Well, I said I wanted to be of Evan. that's,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to receive. But yeah, shout out Evan.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I feel like I felt very far removed from, like, I don't know, like, I just felt very different to them. Like, the possibility never occurred to me that I could be like them or, like, be STUCO Chair until suddenly, like, I was a rep and there was a form to sign up. Like, it just never clocked that I could be like them. I don't know. But, I mean, I always, like, looked up to them still. But I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this in STUCO the other day, and I was like, I realized over time,
Yeah.
like, we've come to understand them more and see, like, oh, that's why they did this, and that's why they did that. But at the beginning, I think, like, naturally we're so different from them anyways, but then, like, being put side by side next to them as STUCO Chairs, we notice all the differences and all the similarities, but more so as time goes on, we start to see how similar we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like naturally though, when you arrive to the school, you end up looking up to these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
The same
for
way I
sure.
feel like a lot of freshies or the people that are running now for STUCO Chair definitely look up to you both. The same way, you know, in last year we like looked up to Evan and Adrian. So yeah, I think it's like a cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's also like everyone like leaves their own mark, and I think you guys have done that just before you. So I
hope
think
so.
everyone has like their own special thing, you
Mhm.
know. Anyways, a different question. Were you guys were you good friends before becoming co-chairs, and has this experience changed your relationship at all?
100%.
Yeah.
We weren't really like, we didn't see each other that
Yeah,
much. We
yeah.
didn't have the same classes. We didn't have any
Yeah.
casts together. We didn't have like anything in common except for
remember-
STUCO.
Yeah.
We had like,
one proposal
for it.
with you.
Yeah.
And it was like the first time I met you. And I was like, oh my god, I loved Ilhaam.
uh,
But then I never saw you for like the next month. Like, yeah.
yeah, that's like we were working on the Inter-UWC Council proposal together.
Okay.
So that's when like we had like 2 meetings for that.
Yeah.
And that's the only time that we had talked. And then like the one night where I was like, you go for STUCO Chair. And then I think after that, then we got STUCO Chair, and it was like,
Yeah.
whoa, like us two are going to have this like completely different
Yeah.
experience, same as like any other position in the school, any other role. It's just that I was like, okay, there's some things that I will not be able to explain to or relate to like anyone except for you with. So in that sense, it's definitely brought us together. And like we see each other all the time,
Yeah.
but it's not as exhausting as you think. If anything, like when I see you, I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
you're never gonna
exactly,
believe what just
exactly.
happened, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think, yeah, that's the one thing. Now we're like stepping down. I'm gonna need like an excuse to talk to
Yeah.
Ilhaam now. Like I'll obviously be able to text you, but
Instead of like recurring meetings.
Yeah, exactly. Just for the sake of it, not
Yeah.
just to correlate.
Yeah. So you would spend time together every day almost, or how
Yeah.
often
Yeah.
would you have to meet to carry out the
I'd say we
duties of
either
STUCO?
texted every day or saw each other every day. Like it's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And-
constant contact.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
I mean, looking back, was there any responsibility that you guys didn't expect, perhaps, when you applied to the role, or anything that like surprised you when you finally became chairs?
It's like something that doesn't come to mind immediately. Like
Yeah.
we know you have to talk to governors from time to time and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think being like, I knew that we are like the bridge between students, or we'd have to be like a bridge between students and staff. But I thought that would apply to just like formal situations, like in meetings or if there was a problem. But I didn't think that, like, I'm very grateful that it happened this way though, that now staff feel comfortable to ask us if they need
Yeah.
reassurance or if they need like a forecast or prediction
Yeah.
on how the student body might respond to something, even in informal situations. Like if we just pass by like a random staff member,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, like how do you think students are responding to this? Or, oh, have you heard about this? What do you think students think about that? So for me, it was kind of like, I thought that would only happen in like meetings or formal settings, but I'm very grateful that people are able to approach us with things like that.
Yeah.
Then, like as you just said, yeah, you're the bridge between students and staff, how do you make sure that you receive like that you get like the whole perspective? I mean, that's quite hard because you can't like talk to every student and ask them for their perspective on that. So I guess like you probably make a judgment call, which is understandable. But how would you say you get the whole picture? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually, depending on what it is and if we've heard about it or not, sometimes we'll just say like, you might want to talk to like this group of students about it or this group of students because they'll know more. Yeah. Because it's sort of hard to keep up from like we've had like a random array of so many different like things of feedback on this and feedback on this, and we are like just two people. So depending on the thing, sometimes it may be like a form or bringing it to the STUCO session, or it might just be. Like,
we try our best not to assume what people might think. Yeah. Like it's so easy to get lost in it like that. But then we always remind ourselves, like, okay, you're chosen to represent, but to represent the voice, not to decide what the voice is. Yeah. So in that sense, we try to like really like send out forms when we can, or discuss things in STUCO or at other events where people can actually tell us directly what they feel. But yeah.
But isn't there often a problem that even though that people usually have a problem, they don't come to you for a solution because they're like, it is what it is, and like, I don't think it can be changed.
That's very true. I remember when we first like started out, one of our main things was about like the atmosphere at STUCO and making sure people feel comfortable sort of like coming to it and voicing their opinion, or different ways that they can voice their opinion. And I think we had a lot more stamina for that last year.
At the beginning,
and then by sort of third term, I will say I personally was also quite burnt out by STUCO. So I may not have been the most approachable in the sense of like seeming like I would want to talk about a STUCO related issue. Like, I would hope that I'd be approachable in other ways of just like saying hi, but in terms of like wanting to hear about what people were sort of, I guess it would depend on the issue, but some issues, because they crop up quite a lot, you can get quite tired of hearing the same thing again. Yeah. But
and I think for us, we just like, we made sure that there were like platforms in place that people could go to report problems if they wanted, like our anonymous STUCO line or having STUCO reps who are approachable. But also just making sure that people can come to us, but knowing that like if someone really had a really burning issue, they would come to us for sure. But if they didn't, that there were like systems in place to take care of that. So hopefully it works.
And when you guys became STUCO Chairs, is there something you needed to sacrifice for the role? Like, do you feel like maybe your grades have suffered a bit, or you couldn't do something else you wanted to do, like extracurricularly or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like it comes with the role, and I think it's something that we knew we'd have to like sacrifice. But I wouldn't say that you sacrifice any more than you want to. Like it's kind of, it's really, the role is what you make of it, and it's up to you to do a lot of work or to not do that much work at all. Yeah. And like doing STUCO, like having STUCO as part of your experience isn't the hard part. It's doing stuff on top of that. Yeah. So like external classes or like taking up any opportunities on top of STUCO and a regular like academic life, that's when it gets challenging, I would say. Yeah,
and I think I near the end of last year, because I found like putting my energy into STUCO more like, I don't know, interesting for me on a personal, that was why my sort of grades suffered at the end of last year's exams, because it was kind of a thing of I would procrastinate doing my work.
I know how that feels.
But it's all about a balance, I think. I think weirdly the thing I didn't expect, and the thing that was a sacrifice I didn't realize was happening, was the role you have on campus, I guess. Like you're then seen, you can be like put into, you're seen in a certain way, and because it's like expectations.
So there's always this kind of pressure on you.
Yeah, exactly. That was the kind of thing. It's kind of sacrificing like an aspect of just being like
an aspect of normalcy. And
able to just
because you know that whatever you do, it's,
And were there like any times where you like said, "Oh, this decision Because I remember when I had my student interview, they asked me if would there be a decision that you had to make and your friends wouldn't like it, would you still do it? Looking back, obviously, like if you have a decision to do, you do it.
Yeah.
But then were like any decisions where you said, well, I felt really unsure about this one, or I didn't know how to, were
Yeah.
like any decision where you were like, well, I'm unsure about this one.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is to do with friends, especially. Like, I feel really bad. I've had to turn down my friends so much, like, so many times throughout our time in STUCO. But, like, I'm so grateful because everyone is so understanding. So I think it becomes okay because people know what the role demands. But definitely, like, I think, having to say no to people, to doing certain things or to being part of certain events because either you're so exhausted from a day of work or, like, you're so... Not that it's a job or anything.
No, I
but
understand what you mean.
yeah, I think just saying no to people is very hard sometimes.
And I think also we sort of wanted to take up the position of hearing out student voice, but whenever we were sort of asked to be in a position of like policing certain things that the student body did or being in between sort of like disciplinary action, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where we tried to draw the line because we didn't want to be seen as people who were like condemning like
like
I don't know.
sometimes we were asked to do things that we weren't in a position to do, and so we had to like put our foot down and be like, I know you want me to do this, but I'm not going to do that because it's not my role as STUCO chair, or it's not my job. And especially with disciplinary stuff, a lot of the times we had to like ask to not be included in certain things because we were like, no, this is not what our job, or this is not what we stand for. This is not what our job requires of us to do. Yeah. Not in the sense that...
Do you mean in terms of...
This or who did
or like the staff coming to you?
Yeah, or in terms of being asked to like advocate for certain things, or to like... To, just like Alice said, to be in between disciplinary measures and students. Yeah. If it was something that we could do, we definitely always did. But if it was something that we felt like, why are we being asked to do this? Then we would ask to not be a part of it.
So you didn't want to set the moral standard for every student because you just don't feel like you were in that position to do that, or...
I mean, we try to to act our best because we know a lot of people would model, oh, this is what STUCO chairs, so this is what this is what is okay. But I think just in terms of if the school was making a certain decision, for example, and we had to relay it to everyone else, if we felt like sometimes it wasn't something that should come from us, then we'd have to be like, no, this is not a decision that we made, so we don't feel like we're in the position to carry it out.
Exactly.
So just things like that.
Yeah, it's very political. I mean, it's hard to keep a balance between that and then your own life as well, because like I think, like you experience at this place, like it's a struggle like in and of itself sometimes. So if on top of that you have to, keep up with like a sort of semi-political role, it can be hard. Yeah. And I mean, I know you guys are just students, but like now looking back, do you think like in the position you guys held, is there any particular way in which you feel about like the student body at the moment, or like just people in general? It's like if you were watching, like Big
bird's
Brother.
eye perspective. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean we've something we've learned is that like people's opinions change so much over time. Like there's a funny example. Like last year we had a STUCO session where we discussed like, oh, should we change the timetable so that like first code wouldn't start at 8 a.m. it would start at 9 a.m. and it was like a landslide of like yes we should. And so we're like, okay, we're gonna go through with this since everybody's clearly okay with this. And then at the beginning of this year we had another session and everyone was like, no, like why would you do that? We like 8 a.m. Let's keep 8 a.m. And we're like, are you kidding me? Like seriously. So it's just we've had to learn.
I mean, the breakfast is good in the morning. I really enjoy it.
Breakfast is good.
I don't know if you guys go, but I'm there every morning.
I do not.
I see you sometimes.
I've been on a new breakfast streak. Last year it was like no morning.
This year I've seen you more and more. I see you, but you come at 8:50 today.
I go catch the last 10 minutes before codes. And then I'm late to class. But, it was worth it. I was munch something.
But do you feel like that you always have to like uphold this like kind of like model like personality like traits all the time? Because like for example, like if you came late to some codes, for example, or something like that, then it would undermine your position in dealing with like the adults in the school.
Yeah, I definitely, that was like one of my biggest stresses when I first got into the role, because I was also not very on time last year. So I tried to sort of, I was aware that people may see me in this role and I need to uphold a certain standard, but where it got to the point where some things I just could not do at a certain point, I was just like, I've just got to try and balance being myself and also having this role, because this is also a place where I live. So it's so strange, especially when the first years came, because sort of like what we were, with the advice we were given is you're like role models to first years, but also first years you're like everywhere, like in the place that you live. So I don't know. I don't think I've done the being a model person for everyone to the best of my ability. But I hope I've at least done the role aspect, like the work aspect of hearing out student voices as best as I could.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's the same for me. I think it's just trying to balance the expectations with also like sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm only human. I'm gonna be late at one point or the other. But you do feel the
Wait, no, sorry, I
the
don't want to interrupt.
expectations. No, go ahead.
I think also sometimes like it could be difficult potentially also like always being that role model, especially like when you're in your house, when you're in your dorm, and I mean like when you get asked for professional opinions there, I mean like that's like kind of also with your friends, you kind of want like just shut down and just be like normal as you said, and don't always have that like STUCO thing obviously behind yourselves.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, we're in the same econ class. Has there been a time where I've come late and you're like, STUCO chair?
No, actually not. You're mostly on time, but
Mostly.
I can't really like I always find it hard when I have to make comments, but I myself sit in the glass room, so like that's never like a smart thing. In econ, I don't know if I pay too much. Like I don't know, my like attention based thing could be a little better. So when you come late, I'm not gonna throw stones because my glass house is gonna break down.
Fair enough.
Cool. We don't.
But
I mean,
I look at Michael though because he's late every single morning.
No, in the morning, only in the morning.
But
Yeah,
then
mornings are
I
hard.
look at Michael and I'm like, I know you're late. It's unacceptable. No.
he's a busy
Happens.
guy. Come on.
Happens to the best of us, especially in the morning. Yes, I'm very busy.
Wake up at 8:10. Oh, I gotta go.
You also have like larger legs. You should be like quicker than everyone else.
Yeah, you're right. It's sorry, guys. It's my bad.
Yeah,
Sorry, Elvis.
do better, dude. We don't only want to talk about STUCO because you guys are obviously much more than that. But on that same note, I mean, is there any like particular conversation that you highlight from like being that role? Because you guys have spoken to more people than every other, like more important or exclusive people than
A range of people.
Then we don't get to talk to no.
Is there any particular conversation?
that like that is your favorite from this time as a chair?
Wow.
You can say no. I mean, it's
No, they've all been boring.
I think so. This was with the help of like all the other council chairs as well, who are all really amazing. Who, like, together as a group, we started these like monthly VP meetings, so that there was more communication between like a wider array of students and then, the VPs, and those conversations could go from like the students and them needing to wear like high vis on the roads to wealth inequality within the school to addressing like the current state of our world. Like it was very broad ranging topics that those conversations with the perspective of like all the other council chairs and leadership was very interesting to see, because it was interesting to see the difference in opinion with, I guess, age, because there's the value of like fresher eyes, but there's also the value of people who've experienced more of life.
Yeah.
So,
I have two, I would say. Like one of them, like you said, so we have these weekly meetings with Nahid and Lucretia. And at the beginning of the year,
Fun combo.
shout out.
at the beginning of the year, it started with us both like having these full agendas of things that we needed to talk about on their side and on our side. And our meetings, which are supposed to be like 45 minutes, would go like over that time, and we were there for hours, and we were like, okay, we have to move on. But now we go there and like we barely have anything on our agenda. They barely have anything on theirs, but we're still there for like an hour because we have such like interesting conversations about the most random things. Again, it will start with like, oh, students should wear their high vis, and by the end we're rethinking the entire like world system and the way like democracies work, and we're like, oh my god.
It feels like a podcast session. I feel like we should join, you know, as a podcast. We should join
Honestly,
those
you
meetings
should.
at least once.
that
You know,
would be cool.
definitely. I feel that'd be like a cool podcast. You know,
should.
like see undercover podcast.
Exactly. But yeah, I've remembered a specific conversation because at some points in this role, you see a lot of like, I guess, how the school functions, and if you're working at it a long time and getting quite burnt out, you start to like question a lot of things. And I think it was after like it was one meeting that we had, I think it was with Nahid and Lucretia, where it was just talking about we like asked Nahid, in an ideal world where all the UWC values, everything the school is working towards were achieved, would UWC schools still exist? Because of how they're built, you require like funding from donors to fund people's places here, but those donors may like work in oil companies, but at least the money is going towards something good. But then if that money is going towards people, yes, working in sustainability, but then also working in the oil industry, then how do you balance out those, like how are we, do the ends justify the means kind of thing? I don't know. So it was an interesting...
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like you go here, like, and you go here, I think everyone has their own reasons for going here, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
But then when you leave, it's like you just do what you do, you know? And like you can't really control it at some point because, you know, the job opportunity comes up when you take it. Because, I mean, like, you know, like if you don't take the shots, you never take, you know, then you don't take any shots. But yeah, it's an interesting question. But then, so what was the response?
It was very interesting. I think he
if you remember.
And if I do remember, see, I don't know, I should, but
it was a very good answer. We'll tell you that much.
It was, but along the lines.
Go ahead.
Like, because it was particularly, the conversation was centered around like difference between like private schools and state schools, but it was like along the lines of, despite like going to like take this job or working towards at this school, like there's still a lot more to be done, sort of thing. But do you remember more?
Yeah. Ooh, I've just I was trying to remember. I remember it was a good answer, but I forgive me for being so exhausted. But okay, he turned it on us and he was like, okay, if for example there was this really big like figure in like or if there was a massive donor who was coming to fund a UWC, which stands for all his good values, but he arrived here in a helicopter, then like do you so we were like, okay, like we kept on like turning back on each other with like questions and more questions. That's what I mean. Like it was just
it's like it goes on forever, I guess.
Exactly.
You know,
we just went like down a rabbit hole.
Because you can justify, and then someone else can be like, but
exactly,
and then it goes on and on.
There's no
and
straight answer to it, but it made us think about things like
it
made us think about things like, okay, UWC is like a model for what a utopian society should be like to some people. Some people consider it that. And so, fine, if we were in a utopian world, would we still need UWC? If UWC is supposed to make change makers, but do you still need that change in a utopian world? So it's like, things about like the future and where we're heading and basically.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, we said we'll move on from STUCO because you guys are way more than STUCO or STUCO Chairs. So Ilhaam, I mean, you're going to move on from AC at some point, I guess, this year. First of all, I'll ask two questions. Will you miss AC? And what are your future plans going to be if you move from AC? When you graduate? Sorry.
For sure, I'm going to miss AC. Like, I've been thinking about it so much. I remember being at the last...
me too, recently as well, yeah.
I remember being at the last graduation or, like, seeing our second years leave. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to handle that. Nope. Like, I'm just going to leave, like, a day before graduation so I don't have to deal with the mess that happens. But I'm 100% I'm going to miss it. I think it's been such a crazy, like, insane experience that I can barely even word for someone else. like explaining what I do at UWC to someone else like in the outside world is it's so hard.
You can't if the person wasn't
It's
here.
impossible.
It's impossible. Yeah.
Exactly, because like what happens here is so unparalleled to everything else. And when I explain to them, like my eyes like fill up with all this light and words that I want to say, but I can't because there's just no way to explain it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna miss the space that it created for us and the opportunities that we got to have.
It's unique.
Exactly, it is unique. And and like to think it's like damn, it's in a couple of months. So I'm trying to make the most of it. I'm
It's
trying to
kind of
spend time
crazy.
with. I know.
It's very crazy. if
With
you never-
first years or with my friends because I'm like, oh, you're never gonna get this back. But also exams are coming, so it's so hard to like balance. Okay, this is an opportunity that you need to spend with this person because you might never see them again.
And you
but
think, well, if I
also-
don't get that grade, then I'm gonna
Exactly.
go. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Then you're
oh,
literally never gonna
Yeah.
see
it's
them again.
opportunity cost.
Exactly, opportunity cost.
Shut it
Thank you,
Elvis.
Elvis. Literally. Yeah,
Yeah.
so in that sense, I definitely will miss it. But again, like with STUCO coming to an end, someone told us during our session, like, oh my God, this is the beginning of the end. And I was like, yeah.
Well, that's really poetic.
I know.
Like, holy moly,
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
crazy.
But it's true, like with STUCO, like things like, I don't know, all the events that are happening now, I remember these being the last events of last year. So I'm like, damn, like I feel it coming to a close. And we're
Yeah,
reaching
and the
that, like,
circle's like
exactly, it's coming to a close. And as like time is going on, I feel like our illusion of like AC is slowly like breaking away. We're going back into like the bubble of the real world. Like every single day I'm going back
tough.
into
Yeah.
the bubble of the real world a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
more.
We're closer and closer. every day.
Exactly. So I just feel it like coming to an end and I'm like, okay, it's sad, but like I feel like
Yeah.
our time here is over.
Yeah.
and then what's next?
What's next? As
What's
we said in the
next?
beginning, United States, right?
US or Canada, hopefully.
Okay.
Let's see. So I really want to study international development,
Okay.
but from the perspective of like public policy or econ. So hopefully somewhere there. I'm still unsure of how exactly or what like specific role or position that I want to obtain, but something that will allow me to have a say in like public policy or something that will allow me to really have a play in international matters or very worldly
Mhm.
matters.
And
So something like that.
so do you know, like, do you have any idea when you say those things and that kind of question? It sounds like, if you know, like to NGOs or like the UN potentially. Is that something that you are interested in afterwards you studied, or
Yeah, for sure. I
that's
think
something? Yeah.
yeah, I think like my idea of what I want to do in the future is changing so much. Like especially since I've come here.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was so limited in the way I was thinking, but then being here has made me like really open my eyes. Like there is so much that you can do with your life.
Yeah, I think also when I don't know if it's for you guys the place, but I think when you come here, your like goals and the things you want to achieve and they shift
They do.
Yeah.
because you find importance for other things
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you start to value other things more.
Yeah.
Like for me, I wanted to do different things, but now I want to do different things as well because
Yeah.
I've been here, and I don't know if it's for you the case or for you, Alison. Like,
Yeah.
but your goals change
Mhm.
and the things you want to
Nice.
achieve.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, also interesting because I'm sure, like, did you want to do that before you came here?
No.
No,
I didn't. Like it was between. Okay. Someone put the word chemical engineer in my head, and so I never knew what I wanted to
Yeah, I
be.
wanted to study math, but that was crazy. Then I came
I
to
was
math
like-
class, and I was like,
Like, never mind.
I was like,
this
maths-
is not for me.
maths at uni, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the first HR maths class, I was like, oh no.
Maybe not.
Yeah, and I'm a math SL, and I was
Yes.
like, this is not my kind of time. This is not my cup of tea. That was not it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like I have so many like passions and hobbies, but being here, I've realized like okay, like doing something in international development would be kind of the balance between everything. It'd be something that I can perhaps live off of, but also something that would allow me to make an impact, but also something I'm passionate about, something that I can mold into a role that I actually like and I'm happy to, be a part of every day. So yeah, I think being here is like really open to my mind to like the fact that you can have a career in anything and you can succeed in anything. You just really need to like invest in it and put time and effort. So I think in that sense, I've like
Also, I
grown
think,
as a person.
and when you have the most fun, if you want to do it, that's what you like.
Exactly.
That's,
That's,
what you
that's
like. You
when
come.
you're going to be
That's when you become
motivated to do
efficient.
things.
That's when you make things happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also think like, of course, trying out new things in this place changes a lot of your interests and what you're looking forward to. But I think mainly it's also the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my therapist told me this once. Shout out my therapist, but like she was like, look, like at the end of the day, people are the one like is like people, other humans will change you and change who you are in a good way, of course,
Yeah.
or maybe in a bad way. But ultimately, it's people, because
Yeah.
that's the most valuable, I think.
Yeah.
Thing
And that's how
out
I
there.
see the thing.
Exactly. That
But
is
But
what
it sounds
places-
corny, but like
Yeah.
No, it's so true.
it's
I think it's
so
true
It's
though.
true.
Like
The
people
people
around
change
you
you.
change you, and
Yeah.
the way, same
Yeah.
it goes like, and vice
Both
versa as
ways,
well. Yeah,
yeah.
it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Especially if you're here. I think like one of the most special things, definitely. I mean, besides beautiful scenery, of course, is essentially the most precious thing are the people.
Yeah.
Because like when are you going to be 16 or 18 or 19 again and be at a place where it's like as described today as a small town.
Yeah.
Because you
It's
walk
like a
the
world of
codes,
its own.
you walk there,
A
you
little
walk there.
community.
It's a little community. I think that's
Literally.
special.
And like
Yeah.
I remember one of our second years, like Shayla, she had read this poem. I don't know if she wrote it herself. I think she might have.
Yeah.
But it was about how like when you're home, you're homesick for here, and when you're here, you're homesick for home.
Yeah.
But when you
Mhm.
graduate, you're homesick for two places, and that's like infinitely more worse. And so I think about it so much because I'm like, oh my god, that's so true. But also then I think, okay, when I imagine AC, or like in the future, if I miss AC, I don't think it will be like, oh, I'm missing this specific castle wall or this door. It's like I'm missing my friends, I'm missing the people.
Yeah.
And no matter where you go, if there's a bunch of people from UWC or AC, you'll have that moment again, like
It's
just
special
between
bond,
yourselves.
right?
Exactly.
That special bond.
It'll be
Yeah.
like the world is created again very slightly for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I think that's
We
that's
can
what
look
we-
forward for those moments when we sit at a
We
bar,
will.
Yeah.
and then we have whatever we drink. But then we have that special moment again, that special
Yeah.
bond. We talk about things that happen here.
Exactly.
Those are things to look forward.
I mean, I think it's far from perfect, of course. No, ideally,
Yeah, for sure.
there are a lot of challenges and things that could be definitely better, but it's very unique in its own way.
Yeah.
And of course, Ali, now
Oh yeah.
it's your turn.
What was the question again?
Well, I mean, just
So your future.
your future.
Oh,
And why
future.
PPE?
Yes.
Oh,
Tell
oh my
us.
God. So I'm like now very interested in like policy specifically, and I don't really know. I can't lie. It was kind of like it made sense because the things I've done at AC, I'm very like for example like symposium, STUCO, and then I take econ like PPE. That's perfect. But I like the aspect of philosophy that's like talking about things and questioning things, but I like that in a very practical sense of like, okay, so you've talked about that, then what can you actually do with that? And I feel like that's where like politics and economics come in. More with economics, it's like, I don't know. It's an interesting
The goat.
subject.
The goat.
but Ali, like she has beef with econ.
Listen, not with like. It's just
May I ask who
find
your
it-
econ teacher is?
Margot.
No,
I
but
love
she,
Margot.
yeah, she does well in class. She just like she has beef with.
Why?
I just
Oh, what's the
the
beef?
subject is
It's
it's
Michael's love.
What does it connote?
It's too theoretical. I agree.
It's-
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah,
and
I
also
totally agree.
it's kind of like there's all this. It's very morally grey when like things are tried. I don't know. A lot
Yeah,
of things
because
are analysed,
it discusses econs, not humans.
Exactly.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very like profit driven. But I guess then you can discuss different economic models and different like there are ways to I guess there are things within econ
Yeah.
that then mean I guess not the subject itself,
Mhm.
but also I guess it's good to learn
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
governments use this and like our world is run off of an economic system.
Yeah.
So I need to know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And why Scotland?
The way the courses work is really cool.
Okay.
So US, I didn't end up applying because, expensive. And the in Scotland the courses you can sort of like switch it up, and you can
Okay.
do like 3 and then drop the third after the first year or something.
It's also a nice city.
yeah,
what I
exactly.
had.
Like
That's
all the
what's
yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
We can-
Okay. And
Yeah.
a last Stuco curveball for at the end.
Mhm.
Go for it.
So what do you think, guys, will make a good Stuco chair? And what are the qualities that have proven for you to make this person be better at the role?
I think, like, definitely one is adaptability. Like, someone
Yeah.
mentioned this in the interview when we were having, like, the Stuco interviews for Stuco chairs. And I think adaptability is such a key value because you don't know what problems you're going to face or you don't know what's going to come at you. But as long as you can adapt, it will be fine. And I think integrity also, just like you can never predict what the student, how people will
Yeah.
react to certain things. But as long as you maintain values that you know are shared within like the AC community, then whatever decision you make will be fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's in line with that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think being perceptive as well, like being able to not just, I guess this is said a lot, but not just listen to the loudest in the room, but also everyone else in the room.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Or the people not in the room,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah, being able to sort of go out your comfort zone in that
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So this is the last signature question of the podcast for the listeners that know. So what are your definitions of success, each of you, individually?
Wow. I listened to all of your podcasts, but damn, I don't think I've reached the end.
Sucks to suck.
Exactly.
you missed out. No?
I did. I did when I'm folding my laundry, but I was finished before. Okay. Well, give us a second to think about that.
I used to say, happiness, but then it's like,
It's kind of vague.
exactly.
There's
very,
more
very-
to happiness.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
you can't be happy all the time, and so I guess like along that, like
What are the means to that
Content.
happiness?
Yeah.
content and like peace in a sense of like I don't know, like
I agree. I think for me personally, definitely peace is
Yeah.
my would be my definition of success for
Peace
sure.
within yourself or
I think
in the world?
Inner,
or
inner
Well,
peace.
world peace.
I think for personal success, I would say inner peace.
yeah.
For global success, global peace. But if we're talking from a personal point of view, I think inner peace probably, because then like what brings you happiness will bring you peace, but also what keeps you stable will bring you peace, but what you love will bring
Yeah.
you peace, and then everything that
And
doesn't
being at
align.
peace with not being happy and
yeah, or like being at peace with what you do.
Yeah.
That means you're successful at it,
yes.
or being at peace with where you are in your life and who you're surrounded by. That's success.
Very
So.
true. Yeah.
So now, last question of the day. So we're going to be next to STUCO Chairs now.
Who's gonna be the
Bleep.
next After Codes podcast people?
I think that's equally as
Undecided.
undecided
I'm pretty
yet.
sure you've decided more than we have. No, just for jokes.
No, but thank you guys so much
Thank you
for
for
coming.
thank you. This was so
Thank
much
you so
fun.
much for
It was, I think, a really good
Yeah,
conversation.
very
Yeah.
insightful.
Yeah, very
Thank you
cool.
for being chairs.
Yeah, thanks for
Anytime.
Did a great
incredible
job.
year of service to the
Yeah.
school.
I'm not
Thank
gonna
you for
lie,
having
I didn't really go to Stuco that much.
So
We've
what?
noticed.
Well, now
I
she just came in perfect because now we're done.
oh
Okay.
cool. Okay, let's do it there.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Bye bye.